actually Scottish, the guy,
Cool.
McNabb,
That's
obviously. Good. So, and he does the best sausages here. But, you know, you go to a barbecue here and people are like, oh, Australians do these best barbecues. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I go along to these barbecues. You get a sausage with skin as thick as the meat and a piece of bread to put the sausage in. And that's an Australian barbecue.
Yeah.
There's no kebabs or koftas or, you know, you do.
You are so right. You know what's really funny?
What?
Do you want to know what's really funny?
Yeah, always.
Is that, okay, you've got bangers and mash.
Yeah.
The name. Then you've got shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
We don't even have a name for our sausage. Like, it's a sausage sanger. Okay, so people say that's the closest.
Sizzle.
It's a sausage sizzle is the actual barbecue thing. You're going to have a sausage sizzle, which means
with disgusting
we're going to cook sausages here and we're going to put them in a piece of bread. But we haven't actually come up with a cool name. There is the sausage sanger, which is just a sausage sandwich. But if we were Americans, it'd be called like the hunky dory or the. Yeah. Someone was saying something the other day that Aussies don't name anything. Like there's the. Why am I having such a brain fade today? But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's our one thing. We've finally got some sort of cultural thing happening. Yeah, what are we going to call it? I don't know. Sausage sandwich?
Sausage and a piece of bread folded in half. Not even a sausage bap thing, you know? Not even a sausage roll piece of bread. It's a literal square piece of bread folded around the sausage and like sauce on top. I got so disappointed. I got invited to all these barbecues and then
that's it.
I got a sausage and a piece of bread. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was at you know how they have those sausage sizzles out at this was out the front of Harvey Norman at Bundle.
Oh, yeah, it's weird and Bunnings and stuff.
Yeah, I know. But we were outside and there was this guy and he had 2 daughters, and this is exactly what he said. And since that day, I've named the sausage sanger this. What was her name? Something like, Jody, are you going to have a sausage in bread? Are you having a sausage in bread? And that's all I heard over and over and over to 2 kids. What about you? Are you having a sausage in bread? Are you going to have a sausage in bread? So now that's all I call it. It's a sausage in bread.
S&B.
But you have to really enunciate the words.
S&B. Yeah, Aussies like to shorten everything too. Literally shorten everything. Servo.
Yeah. Servo. Scythe.
Scythe. I don't. Yeah, that's so Aussie. There's only a few people that actually call me Sophie, to be honest.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. What else is there? Servo.
What about at home? Would you be
Sophie? Yes.
Sophie.
Yes.
What about your last name? Because you have this real blonde and blue eye, like, you know. Let's be straight. I've been around the world a lot. I haven't been to Europe before.
Really?
So I know basically nothing about Europe. So I'm going to say you have that, I don't know, Nordic, Swedish sort of look. I actually
am, on my mother's side, my grandfather has done the whole family tree thing. Right. Back to 1400s, I'm fully British.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every single, like, there's no foreign blood, I guess, on my mother's side.
Interesting.
As far as we can tell, so far. So, my actual surname, Harmes, is, I don't know where that's Dad's name, obviously, so I don't actually know where that originates from, but,
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people lived in the UK in 1400s.
Oh, not many.
Could be related to the king.
Well, yeah, it probably was the king. Oh, I don't know. Well, we had a James Bond who we believe was a spy in the World War One.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our family tree.
I know nothing about mine.
Really?
My last name, I think, is German.
Yeah, I was going to say
And yeah, that's it. German's not really cool, is it?
Oh, you know, there's
good
a lot
cars.
Good cars. Well, yeah. Although we do Aston Martins.
I know.
Well, nice. I've got to say, stop saying we, you know. It's
Yeah, okay, well, you have been here 2 years now.
Oh, nearly 3.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There must be some things, I don't want to talk about negative things, but I remember when I moved from Sydney to the Gold Coast, it really took me 4 years to, I guess you have to find your friendship and find your place.
Yep.
And even if, sometimes I think it's a guy thing to be. You find your territory.
Yeah,
where's my territory, and I feel safe on this beach, whatever it was. And that's and I have a group of trusted friends, but there was because it's a relatively new town. It felt really soulless to me to go from an old place like Sydney.
Yeah.
Bigger, older than the Gold, because they've knocked everything down here. Everything's kind of new. So it you sort of feel, what is it with this place? But then I grew to love the beach. To me, I actually have to go to the beach every day to be happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just this thing that it's become what I need to do to get to really be happy here.
Yeah.
So
it was hard. I mean, I feel like I'm settled now, but then I thought that a year ago. I thought I was settled, but when I think back, it was like, oh, actually, I wasn't. It's been, I guess, career-wise, I've chopped and changed around a little bit to sort of make sure I'm sort of happy in what I'm doing, and I kind of feel comfortable with that now. I've got a great friendship group. The Gold Coast is very transient, though. So you make friends with someone and then you move.
Yeah.
There's not many people like yourself that have sort of been here for over 10 years.
Yeah.
A good friend Mark was obviously lived here his whole life.
Yep.
But there's really not many people that I've met that maybe half a dozen.
That's right.
That have lived here their whole lives. It's a holiday place, but that's why I love it, because I feel like I'm on holiday every day.
Yeah.
Open up the curtains and it's blue skies, and if it's not blue skies for a day, it will be very quickly.
Yeah.
Another day,
What?
Change blue again.
It's there are 500,000 people that live here.
On the Gold Coast?
Yeah.
Really?
That's a lot of people. Well, depends on who you ask, but still, it's a lot of people. Some people get real bummed out that there isn't a big industry. We don't, like all those high rises in Surfers Paradise. There's only kind of 2 high rises that are actually for commerce. Like for office space. And so from the outside, you're like, oh, what can I do here? What business can I be a part of? How can I start sweeping the floor one day and work my way up the corporate ladder?
Yeah.
Because I actually worked for SeaWorld. The closest I've had in that, believe it or not, was sometime in my life. That's actually where I met Mark's brother Lucas. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And
at SeaWorld?
Yeah, at SeaWorld.
What did you do at SeaWorld?
I ran the 3D theatre.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on rides basically, but I had one little cool thing because what was my spiel? Ahoy there, mateys! Welcome to 3D Pirates, starring Leslie Nielsen and proudly sponsored by Paul's. Today's journey will last approximately 3 minutes, so please no smoking, drinking, or flash photography. Blah 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 blah. And I did that probably 7 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and collected the daggy through. It was just a dodgy little job. But the cool thing was there were 400 people that work in SeaWorld.
Yeah, so you met a lot of people.
Yeah, and we had lots of fun. It had this feeling that, I'm part of a bigger group. And there were places to move up to. It was actually the best fun I've ever had in work, because we all went out every night.
Really?
And the place didn't start till 10 a.m. every day, so we were often still drinking at 3 a.m. going, we've got 7 hours left.
You're making me want to go work at SeaWorld.
No, it was good. And the day was exactly the same every day, because they'd open the doors, the tourists come in, every single thing happens every day exactly the same. So you sort of categorise tourists. And it was a really cool feeling.
How long was you there for?
Less than a year.
Yeah. I don't think you'd want to do much longer than that. Doing the same thing every day.
No, and just don't go on roller coasters anywhere. Everyone operating roller coasters are just like normal guys, hungover. They just left the nightclub. Now they're pushing the button on your roller coaster.
Yeah, but there's all those safety procedures and stuff. Yeah. I don't know if I'd go. I can't go on that big drop at Dreamworld. I did skydiving.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'd recommend that to anyone. Yes.
Yeah.
14,500 feet, landed on the beach down at Wollongong in Sydney. It was fantastic. I really would do that again.
Yeah.
Every day.
I did that at Kirra, and a funny thing happened here is we were for a start, we got there kind of early.
Yeah.
And we had to wait for the... No, it was kind of windy. So we stood in the hangar of this little place at Kira.
Yeah.
And it was windy, so they were like, no, look, we need to wait for the wind to dry down. Okay. And I noticed there was a guy, like, wearing a Foo Fighters T-shirt, and another guy, like, you know, scruffy hair. So for a long time, we're talking, and we see these other guys over there, like 3 or 4 guys, and I thought they were just part of our group. And they went, okay, guys, it's ready to go. I went, cool, well, what, the pilot's here? No, that's us.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Dude, what? We've just been smoking ciggies over there on the side thing this whole time. Wow. Okay, so we get in the thing, everything's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and they've done it 100,000 times. They're obviously very skilled.
Yeah.
We get on the runway. The thing's only got one engine. You know, it's just a little 6-seater plane.
Yeah.
So we're piling there. I've got some guy's balls on my back. Like, you know, I'm strapped into him already.
Yeah.
And, okay, and the guy revs up the engine. All right. Okay, guys, ready? We're about to take off. Yeah. And we start up the runway. And next minute, the door that we're about to jump out of was this, like, roller door thing that came down.
Yeah.
And it's going rattle.
Yeah.
And then it
Mine
just
did
went
the same.
flick and then wound up into the open position. And the pilot just turns around like, whoa! We're like, what? And we're like halfway up into the sky. And the door opens, like, you know, that's the door.
Oh, no.
We're all freaking out. And they're all like, oh, it's nothing. Like, you know, it happened last month. But a little, like, little plastic bolt pops out.
Oh, no.
But it was,
Yeah,
which is
they're
just
real
a normal
shabby.
thing.
The planes are, like, I was sitting on the floor at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like,
so are
there's
we.
no seats.
No
it's
seats,
just like you're sitting on the floor
Yeah.
of this little tiny
Yeah.
plane that looks as though it was built 300 years ago.
Yeah. And to those guys, it'd be the same day over and over as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just jump out all the time. The plane
Yeah.
keeps going up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know if I could do
I
that
don't know, yeah.
every day.
Yeah, I overanalyze everything. I looked at that
Oh, so
far
do
too
I.
much and went, nah.
So do I.
If he had a collared shirt on, not a Foo Fighters T-shirt, you know what I mean? Standing around.
Having a few
Yeah,
stickies.
yeah.
Oh, dude, that's funny. So would you go back to Sydney to live? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did. My wife and I, we lived there in 2008 in Cremorne, and I love the place.
Yeah.
I do. I love that history or the feeling of being part of something really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess, so I was raised in Brisbane, so the Gold Coast is a familiar place. So, you know, when, like, you've come from out of town, it's often when people come from out of town, they land in a place and go, I'm gonna be someone,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And you get a real cool feeling to say, oh my God, I'm actually the number one at this in this town.
Yeah.
I got here in a really short amount of time, you know, and I found I did that in Sydney.
Yeah.
Because I'd find myself doing really risky things and
wow.
getting on the phone, just smashing into some choices, you know, and
Yeah, because you have no choice but to, because you don't know anyone.
Yeah.
So you kind of just throw yourself at what you're doing and do your best, you know. I'm one of those people that talks to anyone. Like, I'll be down the street and there'll be someone in the car and I'll be like, oh, it's a great car, or, you know, or like in the shopping queue. It's like, you know, it's, and in England, people don't talk to anyone. They're just in their own little shell. And I think that's another reason why I moved, was because the Gold Coast is a little bit more open, you know, to just random conversation. Yeah. You know, it's just, yeah, and the people that I've met, you know, that are in my life, I've got that much time for. I've spent, you know, I'm a great judge of character too, and I find that the Gold Coast is a mixture of different types of people. That's for sure. There's, you know, there's the people you don't want to be with, and then there's the people that you do want to be with, and there is something for everyone though on the Gold Coast. Like there's a network of people with different cultures, different backgrounds, and I love that.
you know, you made me think of this thing that happened just the other day. I left work and I realised I needed dog food.
Yeah.
Okay, related to that. So I went to the Shell Servo at Tugun, and I get there, and actually it was late. I was coming home from a band practice thing. It was late, right? So, yeah, the Servo.
In the Arvo?
In the old Servo, mate.
In the
Arvo.
Arvo.
Yeah. So I went to the Servo, and there's a guy there. He's got tattoos all over him. He kind of looks intimidating, but he's clean.
Yeah.
And I went, hey, mate. And I grabbed a tin of dog food. And he said, got some dogs, eh? I went, yeah. He goes, what kind of dogs? And we went in the dog conversation. And then he busted into all these facts about dog food and how I should go to